Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. So again, this is Noel Bergonia at welcome sa ating subject na Accounting Information System. So we are now down to chapter 7, okay, which is entitled The Conversion Cycle. So if you have remembered in chapter 2, we have three transaction cycles. We have the revenue cycle, the expenditure cycle, and the conversion cycle. So we have discussed in chapter 4 what the revenue cycle is. In chapter 5 and 6, we have discussed the expenditure cycle, and we are now down to the last, okay, transaction cycle, okay, which is the conversion cycle. So for today's discussion, here are our objectives. So after this discussion, we will know about the elements and procedures of a traditional production process, the data flows and the procedures in traditional cost accounting system, accounting control in a traditional environment, the principles, operating features, and technologies of lean manufacturing, shortcomings of a traditional accounting method in the world-class environment, also the key features of activity-based costing and value stream accounting, and lastly, it's all about the information system of lean manufacturing and world-class company. Okay, so for our discussion of the conversion cycle, so this is only the discussion in general of our book, but technically, it may just like the expenditure at saka revenue cycle, no, change depending upon the entities, processes, or even the policies. Okay? So let's start now with knowing ano ba tong conversion cycle na to. So when we talk about the conversion cycle, it is actually the process wherein we transform the input resources, okay, so the raw materials, okay, through the labor, okay, and overhead into a finished product or services for sale. Okay, so yung raw materials natin, sa natin diniscuss yun, it was eventually discussed in the expenditure cycle under the purchases system. Okay, then the labor and overhead, it is somehow tackled at na-touch din natin yan doon sa part ng what? Payroll system. Okay, so the raw materials were being processed, okay, so that it will become a finished product. So we are talking about again more on the manufacturing side of the business. Okay, so this conversion cycle was being composed of two subsystems. Okay, namely, we have physical activities and as well as information activities. So pag physical activities, it talks about the production system or the production process itself, and the information activities naman, okay, which is denoted by the cost accounting system. Okay, any questions so far? So any question? Wala? Okay, so let's proceed now to the overall overview of our conversion cycle in relation to the other cycles as well. Okay, so eventually, as you can see here in this flow, okay, it illustrates that the central role yung nasa gitna natin is the conversion cycle, and it interacts with the other business cycles, which are the revenue at saka yung expenditure cycle. So the production is triggered by customer orders, okay, coming from the revenue cycle, okay, and by the sales forecast from marketing department. Okay, these inputs are used to set our production target, which is part of our conversion cycle. And then we will prepare a production plan in this cycle, okay, which drives the production activities. Later, babanggitin ulit natin ano yung sales forecast at saka kung ano yung laman ng mga production plan and other reports. Okay, so the purchase requisition for the raw materials will be needed to meet the production objectives which are being sent for the purchases procedures. Na kung saan naman, yung purchases procedure na yon, as we discussed in the previous chapter, it is under the expenditure cycle. Then labor use in the production is being transmitted to the payroll system, diba, also under the expenditure cycle. And then afterwards, the manufacturing costs associated to the intermediate work in progress and finished goods na manggagaling sa conversion kasi it's the process of converting the raw materials into finished products, okay, will be sent to the general ledger department and financial reporting system. Okay, so that's how we have the general overview of this conversion cycle integrated with the various cycles. Okay, any question? All right, so let's now proceed with the production methods. So depending upon on the types of product that was being manufactured, a company may employ various production methods. So dito, meron tayong tatlong production methods or production systems or processes that we're going to discuss. Okay? So the first of which is what we so-called continuous processing. So ito po, it creates a homogeneous product. So pag sinabi natin homogeneous, it means one variety only, okay, through a continuous series of standard process. Okay, so dahil ito ay continuous at dahil isa yung product, then okay, it entails to produce, okay, one product lang. Okay, so hindi siya magkakaroon ng variation. Another would be batch processing. So you have also this processing which produces naman discrete groups or batches of products. So, pag sinabi nating discrete groups, okay, what does it mean? Ano ibig sabihin? Pag sinearch nyo, ano ibig sabihin ng discrete group? Okay. So, pag sinabi mong discrete, okay, ano sa Tagalog yon? Ibig sabihin, it is an individually separate or distinct. Okay, distinct product. Okay, parang ano rin, parang homogeneous din. Okay, pero it's more on batches. Yun kasing continuous yung series of processes. Itong batch processing, batch per batch. Okay? Then, finally, we have the make-to-order processing wherein it involves fabrication of discrete product in accordance with the customer specification. So, it is a distinct and separate product, okay, only for customer specification. Example lang, no? Paggawa ng cake, okay, birthday cake, 'di ba? Isa lang ang order sa iyo, made to order. Gagawan mo ng design. So, that's a made to order processing. Yung batch processing, halimbawa sa cake ulit, no? Yung mga nasa Goldilocks, no, batch per batch na gagawin. Even that's also can be known as continuous processing kasi it could be a homogeneous product. Sir, bakit walang heterogeneous? Kasi if it is heterogeneous, that means they will have different inputs, they will have different kumbaga processes to undergo. So lalabas doon, it's either continuous siya or magba-batch processing siya per product. Okay? Are we clear on these production methods? Ano naman? Okay. So let's talk about naman yung production system. Ano nga ba to? So a production system is a process which involves the planning, okay, the scheduling, the control of physical product through the manufacturing processes. So in this particular process or production system, no, it entails determining kung ano yung raw materials requirement natin sa business. Mamaya i-breakdown natin itong production system na to and this various items na yun, planning, scheduling, and control. Okay, so overall pa lang, in the production system, again, it is used to determine ilan yung kailangan nating raw materials to process the products. Okay, authorizing the release of materials into the production, authorizing the work to be conducted in the production process, as well as directing the movement of work through the various stages of production. Kasi technically, bakit po kailangan ng movement? It's because it could be one department, sample na lang. Okay, so paggawa ng damit, di ba, meron tayong cutting department, from the raw materials, cutting department, the sewing department, okay, may packaging department and others. So that's later on the movement of work, no, in the various production stages. Okay? So our production system, okay, can use the traditional batch processing. Okay, di ba kanina in our production methods we have talked about batch processing. Okay, wherein we put a discrete group of products, okay, per batches. Okay, so this traditional batch processing model or system was being consists of four various processes. So you have the plan and control production, the performance of the production operations, no? Maintain the inventory control, and as well as performing the cost accounting. So later on, iisa-isahin natin itong apat na tong processes. Okay? So before we proceed with the processes, let's talk about the documents that are needed and output later in this production process. So let's talk about first on the sales forecast. As introduced to you a while ago in our um, conversion cycle model in relation to the various cycles or various processes. So from the marketing department, we will have the sales forecast which contains ilan nga ba expected demand sa finished product. Okay, bakit natin kailangan alamin yung ating particular na sales forecast? It because it will give us the idea kung ilan yung ipoproduce natin na products. Okay? Are we clear on that? Usually, si marketing department ang gumagawa ng study na yan. Okay? So, after that, no, we will have the production schedule. So, the production schedule is a formal plan and authorization to begin our production. Okay? So, this particular document describes specific products to be made, ano yung quantity, okay? As well as um, the manufacturing timetable kung kailan tayo mag-start, okay? So, yan yung production schedule natin. The next document that we will use or we will have here would be yung BOM or Bill of Material. Okay, so this Bill of Material naman, okay, specifies the quantities of the raw materials and sub-assemblies used in producing a single unit of finished product. So yung production schedule kanina, okay, ito yung quantity ng kakailanganin for the production, okay? Ito rin yung timetable to finish it, but the bill material focuses more on the quantity of materials or raw materials to be used. So the requirement natin for the raw materials for the entire batch are determined by the bill of materials multiplying by the number of batches. Okay? Any questions? So you can refer to the book for an example of this documents. Ha? Hindi ko na siya nilagay dito sa ating slide. Okay. Another document is yung tinatawag natin na route sheet. Okay? So this route sheet, okay, shows the production path that a particular batch of product will follow during the manufacturing process. Okay, so it entails yung sequence ng operations, ilan yung time na i-allot dito sa particular na station na to or phase of the manufacturing process. Okay po ba tayo? Okay. So next would be work orders naman. So work orders, also known as production order, it draws and uses yung bill of materials natin at saka yung route sheet, nakadidiscuss lang, to specify the exact materials and production, okay, yung mga machining, yung assembly, and others, okay, for each of the batches. Okay? Another document would be the move ticket. Okay, so it records work done in each work center and authorizes the movement of job or batch from one work center to next. So makikita mo ha, this move ticket authorizes the movement of each of the batch. Eh sir, ano pinagkaiba niya doon sa may work order kanina? Yung work order, kung mapapansin niyo, it just uses, okay, and specify the exact material and time. Yung route sheet din, details of production lang siya kung saan dadaan. Pero, what is used as an authorization document, okay, para mag-move yon is yung move ticket. Okay? And then, next document would be our raw materials requisition, okay, which is also, we have discussed that already previously sa expenditure cycle, although mababanggit mo dito, which authorizes naman the inventory warehouse to release the raw materials for use in the production process. So kapag hindi siya dumaan sa materials requisition, the warehouse will not release anything. Okay po ba tayo? Okay? Hindi siya purchase order kasi yung purchase order, work yon under the what? Expenditure cycle purchases team. Ito, materials requisition lang, pupunta lang yan sa warehouse para sa warehouse kunin yung mga materials to be used in our production. Okay, any questions so far for the documents? Alright? So, those will be the documents na ma-encounter natin. Okay? At saka kasama siya dun sa processes. Now, let's proceed with our batch production activities. Okay? So, na-discuss kanina, na-introduce sa inyo that we have four cluster of processes. So, let's start with the batch processing, okay, with these activities. So the first one would be all about the production planning as well as control. So under the production planning and control, okay, so the entity will first examine the production planning and control function of a particular entity wherein it is consists primarily of two main activities, which are specifying the materials and operations requirement at saka yung production schedules or making the production scheduling. Okay? So, yun yung sa part ng production planning and control. Now, another activity in here would be the materials and operations requirements. So, sa materials requirement, okay, it entails, okay, that the raw materials for any batch at a given product is the difference between what is needed and what is available in the inventory. Okay? So parang lumalabas, ang material requirement is equal to raw materials available less what will be used. So let's say ang available na inventory ay baliktad pala, no? Available na inventory ay 10. Tapos ang kakailangan is 27. So what will be needed would be 17. Okay? And then another would be under the materials and operations requirement is the operations requirement naman. Okay? So the operations requirement, it is where the assembly and or the manufacturing activities to be applied to the particular product. Okay? Which is usually, okay, it is based on the flow through the various work centers which is in accordance with yung tinatawag natin kanina na route sheets. Okay? So another in the production activity would be the production scheduling. So this production scheduling, okay, coordinates the production of multiple batches. Okay, it influences yung time constraints, yung batch size, at saka other specification. So, kanina nabanggit natin all about the um, bill of materials, okay? So, the schedule on this, as mentioned to you a while ago, can be found on the bill of materials at saka sa route sheet din. The scheduling task also produces work orders. Okay, itong production scheduling na to, no, it will produce the work orders, yung move ticket, at saka yung material requisition for each of the batch in the production run. Okay? So, next activity would be the work centers and storekeeping. Okay, wherein production operations begin with work centers, obtain raw materials from storekeeping. Okay, yung storekeeping is eventually, it is also known as our warehouse. Okay, so yung materials as well as the machining and labor required to manufacture the products are applied in accordance with the work order. Okay? When a task is being completed at a particular work center, okay, the supervisor or the authorized person signs the move ticket. So, pwede natin i-consider ang work center as a department. Okay? So, pwede yung work center would be the cutting department, cutting work center. Okay? Sa paggawa ng damit. Yung isa naman, sewing department. Okay? And others. Okay? So, once na natapos na for each work centers, ang sabi kanina, okay, so, sasignan ni supervisor or even an authorized person in that particular work center yung ating move ticket so that it could proceed to our other processes. Okay? So eventually, in the end of the particular process, we can already complete the product. And after that, okay, that particular product will be sent doon sa finished goods warehouse. So magkaiba usually guys in a production process or in production or manufacturing entity, okay, yung storage ng raw materials at saka ng finished product. Okay, kaya eventually here, nabanggit kanina, we have the storekeeping wherein we have the raw materials and then it will go after processing to the work centers going to our finished goods warehouse. Okay, any question? Last but definitely not the least, okay, under the production activity natin, okay, would be the inventory control. So the inventory control function consists of three main activities. And its objective muna, okay, of this inventory control is to minimize the total inventory costs while ensuring that adequate inventory exists of the production demand. Okay? So this provides production planning and control with status of finished goods at saka raw materials. Okay? Eventually, it continue to update yung raw materials inventory during the production process so that we will know kung kailangan na ba nating bumili. And upon completion ng ating finished goods, okay, it will also update the finished goods inventory. So under this inventory control, nabanggit ko kanina sa inyo yung mga activities. Okay, 3 activities yon. So ito nga yun, the production planning and control. Okay, then after that, the inventory function will be updating the raw materials. And then finally, it will update the finished goods. Okay, any question? So a common method that was being used as an inventory model to control it is the EOQ model. I know you are familiar with it na. You have already discussed that maybe in strategic cost management or even cost accounting, the economic order quantity model. So this particular model, however, is based on simplifying assumptions that may not reflect economic reality. Okay, so these assumptions, okay, are, okay, demand is not constant, or sorry, demand is constant and known with uncertainty. Okay. Also, another assumption here is that ordering lead time is known and constant. Okay. The total cost per year of placing orders decreases as the order quantity increases. The carrying cost of the inventory increases as the quantity of orders increases, and there is no quantity discount. Therefore, the total purchase price of the inventory per year was being constant. So the overall objective of this EOQ inventory model is to reduce, of course, the inventory costs. So meron siyang significant parameters na nagamit nyo dati sa computation, which are the carrying costs as well as our ordering costs. Okay? So, hindi ako masyadong magtatagal dito because it was just a repetition. Okay? But eventually, most of the entities are using the EOQ model. Okay? Di ba? Yung quantity is equal to square root of 2 times the annual demand in units times the fixed cost of placing order all over the holding or carrying costs per unit, okay, per year. So, yan yung computation nyo sa EOQ model dati. Okay? So, any question about it, guys? So, also in this particular case, no, pwede ninyong makita under the EOQ model yung reorder point, which is usually expressed as the lead time multiplied by the daily demand. Okay? Any question, guys? Wala pa. Okay. So, eventually, this shows us yung physical activities, which is the production. Okay? So, it starts with the production planning and control, wherein we have the sales forecast. Kung makikita ninyo, no? I-run through ko na lang to kasi this is the flow din ng discussion kanina dun sa mga previous slides. So, it will start on the sales forecast from the marketing. Tapos, magko-compute, magpa-plan, okay, using the assess inventory requirements. And then after that, no, pupunta siya sa requisition, yun yung connecting dot niya papunta sa other cycle. And then after that, no, once na na-produce na ng production planning and control yung ating production schedule, it will go to the work centers. Tapos sa work centers, okay, with all of the requirements. Wait lang guys, may tumatawag. Ayan, sorry, pasensya, may tumawag na ko faculty. Anyways, so to continue with, di ba nasa material requirement, nasa work center na, so may move ticket na. So, mapapansin niyo yung material requirements sa mga work centers, it will go to the storekeeping kanina. Okay, and then after that, pag natapos na yung processes, na-process na sa mga work centers, mababagsak naman siya or magfo-fall na siya under the inventory control as well. Okay? So actually, ito lang din yung summary nung ating diniscuss kanina. Medyo nagsanga-sanga lang siya kasi nga pabalik-balik siya on other departments. Okay? So, we're done on the physical activities wherein it is talking about the production process in general. In general, guys, kasi the detailed one in the production process seem to be different from one entity to another. I think you have already discussed this part in the production and operations management. Supposed to be in detail doon na discuss to. Okay, this is just again a review na lang, supposed to be, and in connection with our accounting information system. Okay? So the next part, okay, ito, balikan natin. So the production process, upon completion of it, we have the finished product which will go dun sa finished goods warehouse. Tapos, dahil tapos na yung process, yung work order na ginagamit natin, okay, to eventually um, move one item, one to one process, okay, it will also be closed na. Tapos, pupunta sa inventory control. Now, after that, the status report of the raw materials sa finished goods will be known again by the production plan and control. And then, also, after that, magkakaroon na ng entries. We will have the journal voucher under the general ledger. So, dahil pinag-usapan natin yung entries and some sort of allocation as you all know, let's proceed with the information activity wherein it's known as your cost accounting system o 6 units ulit to. 3 units sa discussion na rin to. Although, balikan lang natin. So this particular cost accounting system records the financial effects and events that occurs in our production process. Okay? It is initiated by yung work orders natin. Okay? Yung document. Then, cost accounting clerk creates a new cost record, okay, for the batch and file in the work in progress file. Okay? So eventually, kapag ito ay, this is general ulit. So kapag nasa actual na kayo, no, it may seem to be computerized na rin, no? Or even kahit sa manual, yung record natin or files, no, kahit hindi na siya tawagin as work in progress file, it's generally a file. Okay? Wherein it's considering the processes involved in the production process. Okay, it also records in the accounting system, cost accounting system, the updates of the materials and labors that are used. Diba? Importante yon kasi sa cost accounting ninyo, almost 3 yung elements na kailangan in the production. The raw materials, the direct labor, at saka factory overhead. So, ina-account yan dyan sa cost accounting system. And here are the elements that we can found. No? Of course, the inventory control, which is for the materials requisition, the requests, okay, which will be used by the cost accountant, no, to account for our direct materials, no. Also, the work centers, which will have the job tickets. Naalala niyo yung job tickets in chapter 6, no? Doon sa payroll, 'di ba? It is used to account for the number of hours worked by a particular employee in the production, and also the completed move ticket. Ayun, kakadiscuss lang din natin yan, okay? So the transfer from one department to another department. So they will all be accounted for by the cost accountant, no? Kasi dun sa inventory control, nandun yung raw materials, work centers, nandun yung particular na job tickets or direct labor, at saka somehow factory overheads or manufacturing overheads. And in some entities, of course, they have standards or they are using standard costing. Okay, so we're in, okay, as the accountant updates the work in progress, no, which accounts also the use of the standard cost, no. After that, they have to compute the variances. O, hindi natin di-discuss yung variances dito, ha? Baka mag two-way, three-way variance pa tayo dito. Hindi. No, we're just introducing it again. Okay, I hope na nare-recall nyo kung paano siya i-compute. So, these are the elements of this cost accounting system. Sorry. So, this cost accounting system is where we receive the last move tickets as signal of the completion of the process. As mentioned to you a while ago kanina, na yung move ticket is an element of the cost accounting or the movement of a cost accountant. No? The clerk removes the cost sheet from the work in progress file. Tapos magpe-prepare siya ng voucher to transfer the balance to the finished goods inventory account and forwards that document or voucher to the general ledger department. Okay? Are we good on that? Tapos, pagka na-post na-journalize na ni general ledger, so done na siya doon sa process of production. So, of course, nandun na yung finished goods. So, pupunta na tayo, okay, connection nitong after cost accounting na to, connection yan dahil may finished goods na after din na production activities, no, it will now go to the revenue cycle na kasi yung finished goods ay gagamitin as the sale factor natin sa revenue cycle. Okay? So, any question? Sana hindi kayo naguluhan na nagkaroon lang ng discussion what are the items that are included in the step in the batch processing of our particular production activities in manufacturing at saka how does in general again yung cost accounting system works. Okay, so let's talk about the controls over this production or conversion cycle in general. Okay, so in terms of transaction authorization, so we have yung work orders wherein it reflects the legitimate need based on the sales forecast and the finished goods on hand. Okay, also the approved move ticket wherein it contains the signatures from each work station which authorizes of course yung movement from one department to another department or work centers. Also, the materials requisition, nabanggit natin yan kanina at the start, wherein only the authorized materials requisition will be sent to the warehouse so that the materials will be released. If there is no authorized materials requisition, the warehouse will not but deliver the materials in the production department. Okay? Next would be as the segregation of duties. So the production planning and control department should be separate from the work centers. Again, in the production and planning, we have the forecast there ng gagamitin. Okay? Then the work centers will do the processing. Okay? So it is important to separate them because of the fact, again, that there will be no collusion among the two departments or the people or employees there to avoid fraud. Okay? Kasi pwedeng magkaroon ng misappropriation dito ng assets. Okay? Inventory control is separate from materials storeroom and finished goods warehouse. Naalala nyo kanina, dapat hiwalay ang raw sa finish. Okay? Especially kapag madaling ma-spoil yung product. 'Di ba? Pag hinalo mo ang raw doon sa tapos na, most likely baka may sira yung raw, then it would cause also spoilage to the finished product. Another would be cost accounting function accounts for the work in progress and separate from the work centers in the production process. Again, because of the fact that the recording falls under or even the computation falls under the cost accounting department, then the work centers gives the input to the cost accounting function. Okay? Supervision. So the work center supervisors oversees the overall usage of the materials at saka yung release. Sila rin yung pumipirma eventually ng ating move tickets. Okay? Employees' time cards and job tickets are checked for accuracy. If you have remembered in the payroll, di ba, kailangan approved by the supervisor yung ating job tickets and as well as the time cards so that it could be a valid source of our payroll. Okay? Access control. So we have two, the direct access to the assets which are controlled on the storeroom kasi nandoon yung mga either raw materials natin, the production work centers, okay, and the finished good warehouses. There should be a specific control. What could be the possible control na pwede natin ilagay doon? Maybe we could, let's say, have security guards on our storerooms or even yung mga, tawag nito, mga specific worker assigned to that particular warehouses para mabantayan yon. Okay? Also at night, no, pwedeng isarado yon to avoid misappropriation of assets. Also, quantities in excess of standard amounts requires approval, especially for those who are using standard costing, di ba? Okay, or standard cost accounting system wherein the standard, ito talaga yung dapat ginagamit. Pag sumobra, what's the reason bakit kailangan na magkaroon ng approval yung excess? Because of the fact that baka mamaya ninakaw lang kaya nagkakaroon ng excess. Okay, and also indirect access, okay, control the use of materials, okay, requisition. So, yung materials requisition natin, excess of the materials requisition at saka yung time cards natin. Okay? So, in the accounting record, important for audit trails. So, ito yung mga accounting records that we need to maintain. Okay, the pre-numbered documents, yung work order, cost sheets, move tickets, job tickets, material requisitions, saka work in progress on the files. Diba? And then also, we have independent verification, wherein we verify the cost accounting records, which reconciles the material usage, and then sa material requisition, and the labor job ticket with the standard. So, kumbaga nagkakaroon ng standard checking, yung variances, check, di ba? At ini-investigate if the variance is material. Okay? Another would be the General Ledger Department verifies the movement of the work in progress to the finished goods by reconciling yung journal voucher na nanggagaling sa cost control or cost accounting at saka sa inventory subsidiary ledgers from the inventory control. So, inventory control, it maintains the inventory subsidiary ledger. So, kapag pinag-match yun, binerify, supposed to be dapat balance yun. Okay? Then lastly, we have the internal and external auditors periodically verify the raw materials, the finished goods inventory through physical count. Yes. No. Eventually, it's just like depending upon the entity's policy for internal kung kailan nag-audit, no. It could be monthly or weekly audit pero napaka-extensive. Pero as you all know, in the external auditors, as they work up to the April 15 na deadline, of course, they are making physical count already either interim o kaya naman year-end for the verification. Okay? Any question? So here are just the summary of the controls that we have discussed a while ago. Okay, so the transaction authorization, the segregation of duties, the supervision, the access, the accounting records, at saka the independent verification. Okay, ayan. Mapapansin ninyo, may reconciliation ulit. Uulitin ko, hindi lang ginagamit ang reconciliation sa cash. No? Since we have started revenue cycle, up to the expenditure cycle, up to this conversion cycle, we are doing reconciliations to verify and to check the accuracy of our data. Okay? Any questions? So far, wala? Alright. So, kung wala kayong questions, so this is the first part of our discussion in the conversion cycle. Actually, dito natatapos yung conversion cycle. The other part of this will be discussing about the lean manufacturing, the other manufacturing processes. Okay? So, before tayo mag-proceed doon, please take your time to answer the interactive question number 1. Again, kopyahin ninyong maigi mula sa mga letters, how it was being written here on the screen. Okay, as well as yung dash. Okay, may mga narilito daw sa 0 or O. Okay, if I am seeing it this correctly, ang O ay mas malaki kesa dun sa zero na mas mag-iit ng konti. Okay? So please answer it. This is part of your task. Huwag nyo na ulit akong tanungin kung may mali ba dyan sa link. That's the link. Kopyahin ninyo na maigi at yan lang i-access ninyo to answer our first interactive question. Okay? So just like what we have as a rule in the previous um, chapter, no? Please do not share this link to the others na hindi pa po nakakapag-open nitong file. Okay, so that they could really understand that they need to watch this so that they could be able to find out kung nasaan yung question. Okay, do not spoil them, guys. Are we clear on that? At again, ayoko magalit sa inyo, no? Ayoko ma-zero kayo dito because these are additional points to you. Okay, so good luck in answering the first interactive question. So I'll just leave you in few minutes, okay, to answer it. Okay, pwede mo ring stop yan. Are we clear on that? Ayan, no? Pwede mo siyang i-click. Okay, sige. So I'll just stop here muna, then I'll continue in few minutes. Alright, so let's proceed. So the next part of the topic discussion under this chapter is all about the world-class companies as well as the lean manufacturing. Okay? So when we say it's a world-class company, okay, it is being characterized by number one, okay, this company eventually, pursues improvement in all aspects of their operations, including their manufacturing procedures. Okay, they continuously improve, continuous improvement. Okay, then they are highly customer oriented because the feedback of their customers are very important, okay, for their stability. Another would be world-class company have undergone fundamental changes from the traditional production model. They have already streamlined those processes from the batch processing kanina na diniscuss natin. No? They may have simplified the process so that it could eliminate some waste in the processes. Okay? It often adapt yung tinatawag na lean manufacturing model. So in the next few slides, we will be talking about lean manufacturing. Okay. So those are some of the characteristics that we can have in a world-class companies, no? Ano bang meron yung mga malalaking international companies natin? So ito, no? So one of the principles that they do apply is what we so-called lean manufacturing. So let's define ano ba tong lean manufacturing na to? So overall, this lean manufacturing was being introduced to the Western world via a 1990 publication of The Machine That Changed the World, okay, which was based on a study into the future of automobiles, which was being detailed by Toyota's lean production system. So eventually, nagsimula itong concept na to sa Toyota, di ba? As you can know, napakalaking company nitong Toyota. It's already a world-class company. Now, since that time, lean principles have profoundly influenced all the manufacturing concepts throughout the world, as well as industries outside manufacturing, including the healthcare, some sort software development, at saka industries. So overall, the definition of this lean manufacturing is, it is a method that focuses on minimizing the wastes. Okay, minimize yung waste within manufacturing system while simultaneously maximizing the productivity. Bakit po minimize yung waste in the overall lean manufacturing? Oops, I hope na narinig nyo na rin to in other accounting subjects such as yung hindi pala accounting, in your other subjects such as production and operations management, no? It's because no, the lean manufacturing has the concept that waste is seen as anything that the customer does not believe that adds value and are not willing to pay for it. Okay? So, it minimizes the waste. Less waste, then less cost. Diba? Okay? And also, it reduces yung time, yung operating cost, at saka it improves the product quality. Sorry. So, we have various principles no, that we are about to discuss. One of the principles in the lean manufacturing is known as the pull processing. Itong full processing na to, as implied in the name, okay, it involves pulling products from the consumer, okay, rather than pushing them to the production end of the supply. So under this lean processing or lean manufacturing, okay, so inventories arrive in small quantities from vendors several times per day, just in time to go in the production. So technically, okay, this is more on a just-in-time concept. Okay, they are pulled into the production as capacity downstream becomes available. So unlike with the traditional push process, rather, this approach avoids the creation of batches of semi-finished inventories at bottlenecks. Okay? So ayan. So na-avoid natin yung too much inventories. Another would be perfect quality. So lean manufacturing entails, okay, that poor quality is very expensive to the firm. So under this perfect quality, okay, the full processing requires zero defect, no waste, no, on raw materials, the work in progress, and finished goods. Of course, we can have only a perfect quality if we have the perfect process. Okay? And eventually, nabanggit ko yung waste minimization kanina, okay? We need to minimize the waste because again, it does not add any value to the entity and it uses the scarce resources which are very limited. So kaya kapag nagkaroon tayo ng minimization of waste, na-eliminate natin yung paggamit ng mga resources na um, kumbaga kulang or salat dun sa particular entity na yon or enough lang para sa processing. 'Di ba? Isipin niyo na lang, sabi kanina sa full process we will just have small amount of inventories. Tapos biglang yung isang kailangan mo dahil enough lang yon, okay, biglang nasira. So wala na yung process, 'di ba? At least we could avoid at saka meron tayong perfect quality. Parang interrelated itong mga tatlong to. Also, we want to avoid under waste minimization din yung mga bottlenecks in the products, no? Waiting from one process to another process. Okay? Also, transportation of products farther than minimally um, necessary. So, meaning, halimbawa, pupunta dito, halimbawa lang, no? Let's say, liquid yung product nyo. Tapos, yung department A nasa kabilang building. Okay, building A. Tapos, yung another department nasa building B, isipin mo na lang pag natapon yun, you will have the waste, di ba? So, we want to minimize. Kaya, your plan for the production also should be what? Perfect. Okay, so that we could avoid the waste. Waste of time, waste of money, waste of the particular itself product na meron tayo. Okay? So another would be inventory reduction. Na-mention na kanina sa full processing yon that we want to reduce, we want to have the inventories that are only enough. We reduce it because it's the hallmark of lean manufacturing. Inventory costs money. Kung sakto lang yung inventory, we will not have storage costs. Thus, we will reduce the amount of storage and carrying costs. Inventory can mask production problems. Okay? So, bakit natin mamamask or camouflage yung production problems? It's because bottlenecks and capability of imbalances in the manufacturing processes causes the work in progress to build up at choke points, wherein inventories also build up when customer orders and productions are out of sync. Okay? And then lastly would be under the inventory reduction, we have the willingness, okay, to maintain inventories can precipitate overproduction. Okay, kasi kapag meron kang inventory sobra, of course, you will be thinking, ay, may sobra ako, dapat gumawa ako na mag-overproduce ako. No. Again, we have a sales forecast na kailangan natin i-follow or meron tayong demand or meron tayong schedule na sinusunod, diba, as discussed kanina. Okay? So, these are the first four na meron tayo as principles. Another principle would be the production flexibility. So, we reduce under it the setup time to minimum, no? Allowing the greater diversity of products without sacrificing efficiency. Nabanggit ko rin to kanina in the waste minimization wherein we would try to have the products quickly so we do not encourage any delay in the production. And because of that, we need to be um, flexible in terms of our production. So ayusin mo yung setup mo sa inyong entity to avoid the and to reduce time, okay, of transfers. We should have also established supplier relationship. Bakit? Kasi we need to establish it so that we could avoid any late deliveries o kaya naman defective raw materials or incorrect order which would really have a particular bottleneck kapag hindi naganap or hindi na-deliver sa particular product. 'Di ba? Ulitin ko ulit, balik ako sa materials. Yung materials dapat enough, 'di ba? Enough para sa process. Isipin mo yung in-order mo, gagamitin mo dapat ngayong araw, 10 yun, lahat yun dapat magagamit, nag-buffer ka lang ng isa, tapos nasira yung tatlo, okay? Wala na, di ba? Madi-delay na yung process mo. Okay? Any question? Kaya dapat, you should have established supplier relationship so that you can avoid this. Diba? Pag okay kayo noon, i-check ni supplier yung mga products na maayos bago i-deliver. I-handle nila na maayos para pag dumating sa inyo, walang sira. Okay? Another would be team attitude is very important in lean manufacturing, wherein the employees should be vigilant in problems which threatens the flow of production line. So tuturuan nyo dapat yung employees nyo na kapag may problema, they should report it immediately. Hindi yung mindset na, ay, sige, employee ako, for example, ay, may sira dun sa process. Baka ano lang, baka biglaan lang, o kaya naman baka isa lang yung pumalpak, no? Sa iba, hindi. No, we should address immediately those problems and we need to put a mindset in the employee na, hey, kapag may something na nangyari, may na-observe ka, dapat i-address na natin lahat. Kumbaga, ipagbigay alam mo sa mga supervisors so that they could really address it properly and quickly. Okay? Any questions so far? So those are the principles of lean manufacturing. Okay? So in the lean manufacturing model, okay, we have to achieve production flexibility by means of, okay, although nabanggit ko na itong mga to kanina, no, we need to change the physical organization of the production facilities. So we need to maximize the space, we need to minimize the waste, no, so that it could be properly laid out. No, proper layouting in our production facilities are very important, no? Hindi pwedeng halimbawa yung pagtatahi na lang ng damit. Okay, so si cutting, hindi pwedeng halimbawa nasa isang room lang kayo. Let's say yung damit manggagaling sa yung tela manggagaling sa material warehouse or storekeeping, di ba? Okay, tapos babagsak siya doon sa cutting. So si cutting, let's say nasa isang room ka, isipin mo. Nandoon siya sa left part, si cutting. Tapos next department is already sewing, no? Let's say si sewing nandun sa left part, si cutting nasa right part, rightmost. Okay. Tapos si packaging nasa gitna. Ano napansin niyo? Mali yung layout, di ba? So dapat si cutting nandun sa left, okay? Nasa gitna si um, sewing. Okay, tapos yung packaging and other processes pa, sunod-sunod kumbaga, there should be a physical organization of that particular production facility at may proper layouting. Okay? Next would be employment of automated technology. So mamaya pag-usapan natin itong mga automated technologies na to, no? The use of robotics, yung computer-aided manufacturing, okay, computer-aided designs, and other automated technologies pa natin. Okay? The use of alternative accounting models, you have the ABC, activity-based costing, and value streaming accounting. And also the use of advanced information system, okay, material resource planning, the enterprise resource planning, at saka yung electronic data interchanges. Okay? Any question? Mamaya i-discuss natin isa-isa yan. Alright, so let's again start with the next discussion with the physical organization and production facilities. Although na-discuss ko na rin siya kanina, paulit-ulit na ako. So, in this case, inefficiencies in the traditional plant layout increases handling costs. Ayun nga, di ba? Kapag palipat-lipat yung time, conversion time, at saka excess inventories. Okay? So, inefficient yung mga yon. Now, the employees tend to feel ownership over their station contrary to the team concept. So, pag inayos natin, reorganize natin, okay, ako si cutting department, okay, focus lang ako sa cutting department. Hindi pwedeng isang empleyado lahat ng process kailangan niyang aralin, kailangan niyang gawin, no? You need to give them the ownership of their work centers. Okay? Another would be reorganization is based on the flows through cell, which shortens the physical distance and activity. Ayun nga yung kanina, di ba? Dulo sa dulo. Instead na dulo, gitna, dulo, yung process. It reduces the setup and processing time. Also, the handling cost and inventories. Okay? So, kaya pag napunta kayo sa mga lean, halimbawa sa Toyota, no, yung mga particular processes, they are already having the proper organization and layout of their production facilities. Okay, because they want to avoid anyways at saka inefficiencies. Okay, another would be all about automation. Now, in the automation, we have the traditional, and then it will be transferred to an island of technology, and then it will go now to a computer integrated manufacturing. So, maya-maya we would discuss that properly, no? So, in this particular traditional manufacturing, okay, approach in the automation, okay, so it is consists of different types of machines where we require a lot of setup time. Okay, setup, no? Then the machines and operators are organized in their functional departments. The work in progress follows a circuitous circuitous route through the different operations. Okay, so eventually, because the machines requires a great deal time to set up, the cost of setup must be absorbed by the large production run. So the machines and their operators organize the functional departments, okay? And again, the work in progress follows the route of the different operations across the factory floor. So yun yung typical na traditional approach sa automation. 'Di ba? So, machine based na rin naman siya. Now, how this traditional approach in the automation differs from the island of technology? So, pag sinabi nating island of technology, this describes an environment in which modern automation exists in the form of islands and stand alone with the traditional setting. The islands employ itong tinatawag natin na computer numerical controlled machines na kung saan it reduces the complexity, no, of physical layout. Bakit? The machine performs multiple operations with just little human involvement. So this machine contains the computer programs for all parts that are manufactured by the machine. Okay? It arranged into groups and cells to produce entire part from the start to finish, at saka needless setup time. Yung kanina sa traditional, it has more setup time, no, compared with the island of technology, which uses the computer numerical controlled machine. And then lastly, no, under the automation process, we have the computer integrated manufacturing, or CIM, wherein, okay, it is a completely automated environment with the objective of eliminating non-value activities. So this computer automated environment, okay, uses a group of technology cells composed of various types of machines as well as the entire part, okay, from start to finish to one location. Okay, so this particular computer uh, integrated manufacturing, okay, uses yung automated storage and retrieval systems, or ASRS, which actually replaces yung traditional forklifts and their human operators with computer controlled conveyor system. So, we can say, pwede natin sabihin na halimbawa, yung sa process ng gardenia, siguro punta naman na kayo siguro doon, no? So, they are more on automated, di ba? Walang humahawak na tao doon sa processing ng ating bread unless doon sa paglalagay ng raw materials, dun sa machineries, tapos i-handle na lang siya kapag natapos na siyang i-produce, di ba? It reduces errors and improves inventory control and lower the storage cost because we will have to avoid, no? Avoid yung errors natin nare-reduce kasi less yung human contact, at the same time lower storage costs kasi nga it really has already the continuous process using the computer controlled systems. Okay? So this is the feature of a computer integrated manufacturing system. So of course, you have the what we so-called robotics, no? Pwedeng gumamit sila ng robotics. O kaya naman yung computer-aided design, which is used by engineer to design the product faster. Okay? So eventually, it will also use yung CAM software. So the CAM software o kaya naman computer-aided manufacturing software is the use of computer to assist the manufacturing processes. And then eventually, the execution will all be in terms of the computer processes already. Okay? So ito, isa-isahin natin yung mga nabanggit ko kanina. So in robotics, we use the special computer numerical controlled machines that are useful in performing hazardous, difficult, and monotonous tasks. Okay? In the computer-aided design naman, it increases the engineer's productivity, the accuracy, allows the firm to be more responsive to market demand, interfaces with the computer-aided manufacturing at saka material resource planning system. The computer-aided manufacturing, yung CAM kanina, uses computers naman to control the physical manufacturing process. Okay, it provides greater precision, speed, and control than human production processes. Ano pinagkaiba niya sa CAD? Okay, si CAD is attributed to more on the design. Si manufacturing, it's more on the processes itself already. Okay? So eventually, how does okay, may questions pa kayo about automating the manufacturing processes? Okay, wala naman. Okay. In achieving a world-class status, you need to remember that um, a firm needs new accounting methods and new information system that would what show the matters to the customers kasi 'di ba customer driven yung ating lean manufacturing. Identify profitable products, identify profitable customers, identify some opportunities, encourage adoption of value-added activities and processes, at saka efficient support of multiple users with both financial and non-financial information. Now, what's wrong with the traditional accounting information natin? So, the traditional accounting information has inaccurate cost allocations. So, through the use of automation, okay, the relationship between the direct labor, the direct materials, and overhead costs was already changed. Okay? Compared to the traditional. Now, automate na kasi sa automatic, maybe it uses computer already to compute rather than a human, di ba? Antayin mo pa yung yung reports, physical reports in a traditional accounting compared with automated na it could be sent already through computer-based systems. Okay, the traditional accounting information also promotes non-lean behavior, wherein incentives to produce large batches and inventories and conceal waste in overhead allocation. So, di ba, in the lean manufacturing, we are advocating for waste minimization or even zero waste. Okay, compared it with the non-lean behavior which conceals the waste. Then time lag, the difference on the data because of the assumption that control can be applied after the fact to correct errors. Okay, rather than you try, di ba yung team kanina, team mindset, no? Dapat maayos na agad, okay, bago pa magkaroon ng error. Financial orientation, so dollars as the standard unit of measure, okay? And any questions so far? So doon sa financial orientation, bakit siya wrong in terms of traditional accounting information? It's because the decision pertaining to the functionality of a product or process, improving yung quality ng product at saka shortening the delivery time, okay, however, are not necessarily well served by financial information produced through standard cost technique. Indeed, attempts to force such data into a common financial measure may distort the problem and promote bad decisions. Okay? So yan. Yan yung mali dun sa financial orientation na yan. Okay? So, next topic would be all about ABC, no? Activity-based costing. So many lean manufacturing companies have sought solution to the problems in terms of the traditional accounting system through this activity-based costing, which is a method of allocating costs to products and services to facilitate better planning and control. So it is an information system that provides managers with information about activities as well as the costs objects. So it assumes, okay, the ABC system assumes that activities cost and the products create a demand for activities. Okay? Different siya sa traditional accounting system as discussed previously because the ABC has multiple activity drivers, okay, whereas the traditional accounting system has only one, maybe the machine hours. Okay? Kaya nga hindi natin nire-rely yung financial orientation natin in traditional, no? Okay. So, let's try to see ito yung allocation of overhead cost products under the activity-based costing, di ba? So, there are various activities, okay? Activity cost pools, and you have the activity drivers, which will be the basis in terms of your product flow computation. Okay, compared to traditional na pwedeng isahan lang yan. Okay, so yung machine hours lang yung basis dito. It depends upon your activity cost and drivers. So, sample na lang natin, no? Yung activity cost pool mo, let's say direct labor, so pwede mong basis direct labor hours. Yung material cost mo, pwedeng the number of materials used. Okay, hindi yung isahan lang yung basis natin. Okay? I hope na in your cost accounting discussion, no, na compute niyo naman na maayos yung ABC using the ABC system, di ba? Okay. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of using the activity-based costing? So mag-advantages muna tayo. So through ABC system, it allows managers again to assign costs to activities and products accurately than standard costing which permits, no? So here are some of the advantages. So most accurate costing the products or services to customers and distribution channels. Bakit? Because we have determined it through the cost drivers, the appropriate cost drivers. Identifying the most and least profitable product and customers, no? Also, accurately tracking costs and activities as well as the processes. Under the ABC system, although hindi natin nabanggit kanina, it equips managers with cost intelligence to drive continuous improvements. Okay? Also, it facilitates better marketing mix and identifies waste and non-value added activities, which is in line with our lean manufacturing process. Now, the disadvantages, okay, would be too time consuming and complicated to be practical. Okay? Bakit? Because the task of identifying activity costs and cost drivers can be significantly undertaking that is not completed once and then forgotten. Kaya siya time-consuming at sa complicated. Now, as product and processes changes, the associated activity costs and drivers also changes. Okay, so in this case, okay, one of the disadvantage of ABC system is it promotes complexities, okay, among bureaucracy in conflict with lean manufacturing philosophy. Okay, because of the fact that conflict, okay, in the process simplification at saka waste elimination siya. Okay? Anyways, mas madami yung advantages niya. So, usually, most of the entities nga, as mentioned to you a while ago, uses under the lean manufacturing yung ABC system. Okay? Another is value stream accounting naman. Okay. So, the complexities of ABC have caused many firms to abandon the method in favor of a simpler accounting model. So, although ginagamit yung ABC system by other companies, no, okay, they have found out that value stream accounting is capturing the cost by value stream rather than the department or activity. Na kung saan, it reduces the complexity of the ABC system. So, mas nag-streamline pa sila sa accounting process. Okay, the value stream are steps in the process that are essential to producing a product. Okay, so in this particular scenario, the value stream cut across functions as well as departments. So this accounting captures costs by value streams rather than department or activity, which is more simpler than ABC accounting. It makes no distinction between direct and indirect costs, including the labor. Okay? So this is the cost assignment to value stream. Okay, typically, the only allocated cost in the value stream is a charge per square foot for the value stream production facility. This allocation would include the cost of renting the building o kaya naman the maintenance. The logic behind this is to promote efficiency by encouraging value stream members to minimize the space used in the value stream. So as you can see here, okay, so you have value stream for product A at saka product B. Kung maalala nyo kanina, the value stream are the processes. Okay. So eventually, under this process, okay, it includes activities associated with the product family. Okay. But makes no distinction between direct costs at saka indirect costs. As you can see, hindi siya na design to check halimbawa for product design, 'di ba? Hindi naman siya technically direct or indirect. Even the support labor, direct or indirect, production labor, hindi. No, they are already associated with that particular product family. Mapapansin mo, yung production material ni family A, okay, would only be attributable to family A. For family B, kay family B lang. Okay? Yung product design, okay, it would be separated, segregated in product A and B depending upon the usage, even the distribution of other expenses. Okay, so mas compared sa kanina na ABC, na ganyan yung itsura, no? We find various activity cost drivers in the value stream accounting. Now, we simplify it by having the value streams and then attaching to it are the costs, no, per product family. Okay, any questions so far? All right. So, we're down now to the last part of our discussion wherein ano kayang information system ang nagsusupport sa lean manufacturing natin. Okay? So, although kanina na-discuss natin, di ba, we use as ABC sa accounting or even more likely the simplest would be the value stream accounting. Ngayon naman, in the information system, there are four that was being introduced a while ago to you. So, isa-isahin lang natin. Okay, the first that could be used in the lean manufacturing would be yung material resource planning natin or MRP. So this particular MRP or Material Resource Planning System natin, okay, is an automated production planning and control system which used to support the inventory management. So it's more on an inventory management wherein its objectives are to ensure na adequate raw materials are available in the production. So dahil sa lean, 'di ba, kailangan lang natin whatever is to be used in the production. It maintains, no, the lowest possible level of inventories on hand. Okay, minimize niya, okay, yung inventory on hand so that we can minimize the cost as well as yung mga waste, no? And also it produces production and purchasing schedules and other information needed to control this production. Okay, so depending on the manufacturing process in place, inputs on this system will include yung sales forecast, mga finished goods inventory. Okay, so the management requirement planning system is a calculation method geared towards determining how much raw materials will be acquired and when they are being ordered, okay, to fill in the production. So this calculates the total production requirements and individual batch lot sizes. Okay? So in the book, meron naman tayo example ng um, management or sorry, manufacturing or materials resource. Asa na ako? Naku, mali. Wait lang ah. Edit ko lang saglit. Alright? So it should be guys material requirement planning yung MRP natin ha. Yung kadidiscuss ko lang kanina. Sorry about that confusion. Okay? So the next information system that supports the lean manufacturing is yung manufacturing resource planning, okay, 2. Okay, so this system, sorry, is an extension of the materials requirement planning, which has evolved beyond the confines of an inventory system or inventory management. Kasi kanina sa material resource planning, as mentioned to you a while ago, it's focusing more on the inventory requirement, di ba? Samantalang sa manufacturing resource planning 2, okay, more than inventory management and production scheduling, it is also the system which coordinates the activities of the entire firm. Okay? So it improves yung customer service. It also reduces the inventory investments natin. Nag-i-increase yung productivity at saka improve cash flow through the use of this manufacturing resource planning too. Okay, so in this case, ito yung itsura ng isang manufacturing resource planning tool. Okay? So wherein this system integrates the various processes natin, okay, na na-discuss kanina. Okay, yung sales order nasa ano na yan, nasa revenue cycle, 'di ba? The management reporting, although discuss pa in the future, the inventory control. So it involves various subsystems, okay, integrated into one system. Okay? And then another information system is yung enterprise resource planning. We will have one chapter about it on the succeeding days. Okay, so the enterprise resource planning system natin, it's a huge commercial software, no, packages that supports information needs of the entire organization, not just in manufacturing function. Yung dalawa kanina, the material requirement planning at saka uh, manufacturing resource planning, they are focusing more on a manufacturing side. But this enterprise resource planning, kahit saan yan, whether service or even in manufacturing or even merchandising, they can use that. Because this particular system, the ERP system, automates all business function along with full financial and managerial reporting capability. Eventually, okay, I know yung mga companies na na ilista nyo doon sa sinubmit nyo sa akin for your research, no? Some of them are using ERP systems already. Example of which is yun nga, yung Oracle, yung SAP, yung NetSuite. They are somehow enterprise resource planning system na kung saan not only that they are used in manufacturing but they integrates accounting in that particular system already as well as managerial reporting. Okay? And finally, now we have the electronic data interchange na nabanggit na rin natin in the revenue cycle wherein it connects external communications with customers and suppliers via the internet and direct communication. So it's more on what we have discussed previously, yung ordering system natin, di ba? Using the electronic data interchange. Okay? So any question, guys, about the information system? Wala naman. Sa lean manufacturing, wala. Alright? So, I hope na naintindihan nyo yung ating um, conversion cycle at saka introduction to lean. Although, saglit lang to, no? I know talaga na na-discuss na to sa total quality management. Baka mas articulated pa kayo to discuss it, no? Okay? So, to end this, okay, we have the interactive question number 2. So, again, take time to answer and copy this link properly. Okay? So, make sure lang na ulitin ko, copy nyo properly yung mga dash. Yung tatanong P dash T T, no? Naka-capital letter yon. Okay? So, ayan. Pakisagot ha ng tama for your additional points. Alright? So, ayan, to summarize what we have discussed today, so na-discuss natin yung ating conversion cycle, okay, from integration of other cycles with the conversion cycle, as well as the important documents that we use, no, up to the two activities, the production system, the production activities, as well as yung ating production at saka cost accounting activities, di ba? Tapos, we have also transitioned to lean manufacturing, understanding the world class entities, ano yung mga ginawa nila to achieve being a world class, and then using the lean manufacturing to be a world class company to avoid any waste, diba? Full um, full blast processes na nasa maayos na layout and others. And we have also discussed the information system that will be used in the lean manufacturing. And I hope na naintindihan ninyo. And if you have, again, any questions, please feel free to ask on the group chat natin. O kaya naman for further information, you might research yung mga kakaunti lang na details in the book at saka sa discussion natin dito. Okay, there are so many things in the internet but we cannot discuss it in this particular topic lahat-lahat. Okay? So, I hope na may naintindihan kayo. And again, okay, this is your instructor. Okay, thank you very much for listening and have a great day. Okay, good day, everyone.